Welcome back to Rock the World with Kay and Michelle. I'm Kayla Ireland, founder of Kindly Neurodivergent with Kay.
I'm Michelle. I am founder of Movement Lesson. I also have my own artificial intelligence based off of Movement Lesson, Movement Dynamics, Turner AI.
Today we're talking about technology and whether it has advanced too fast. Some people are excited by these changes, while others feel overwhelmed by how quickly technology is evolving.
I do hear that. I disagree. I actually think it's too slow. And I think we're doing just fine. But yes, we have to adjust. But where we're going to adjust, we have to get more organized with it. I think that's the better answer. What do you think, Kay? Going too fast?
Before we jump in, just a quick reminder that everything we talk about today is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for medical or educational advice specific to your. My answer is no. As someone who relies on technology every day to communicate, technology has changed my life in incredible ways. However, in some ways, I actually don't think technology has advanced fast enough.
Oh, I agree. I think technology got a little bit lost in what they call user interface. This is where it fails people like Kay. But I think it fails you. Merging how to do a letter with an envelope. We were stuck on that technology for years. We put a person on the moon back in the 60s or, got into space, but yet uh, we're just really now talking about AI. AI has been around for a couple of years, but still, not everybody uses it. Not everybody is familiar with it. People my age that still don't even know how to do an email or a text. So unfortunately, I think technology hasn't advanced because we haven't advanced with it.
I would love to see communication technology become more natural. Right now, I still have to type or pre-program thoughts. I dream about a future where I can think what I want to say and have a voice output app instantly communicate those thoughts. That would be life-changing.
Right. And in your technology, really, there's such a big gap. You're either at push the button, but for you to, like you said, put stuff in, you have to go back to typing, which is what I have to do. So you have to be able to have not only the cognitive, but you have to have the social, emotional, and physical abilities to do manual labor. And really, it should be much more, like you said, natural, free flowing where you can scan in text, scan in your thoughts. It starts putting things together to you in a much more K-based output. You mean you're not getting robotic answers, but you're getting that continuity of who you are and representative. So you can be so much faster. I'm looking for speed. Right now, if I could read
Absolutely.
3 books this
People
weekend,
receive
I'd be.
emails, text messages, notifications, news alerts, and updates throughout the day. Being connected all the time can be exhausting. Technology gives us access to more information than ever before, but sometimes it can feel like too much information.
Oh, not at all. Um, I had a son that was very complex. I needed information that's not in my field, medical. I wasn't behind to become a doctor, but I had to understand WBC or white blood cell counts. My son's now 23. Google barely existed. There was no Facebook. Facebook, I will say, is a tremendous resource and YouTube to help parents. but I did not have these things. And trying to type in exactly what I needed to find out, because I needed to know what questions to ask my doctor to eventually get to the diagnosis of Haemophilus influenza.
I get my blood work results in a few hours.
Oh, that's great. But again, they should be offered to you in a way that is understanding to you. You should have a file that's already downloaded to your OGCOM device. So if you wanted to discuss the blood results, let's say with me or your parents, it's already in your system. It's not, right? Everything is manual for you. And I don't agree with that. I think that kind of thing should be available. Even like we take for granted GPS. Why can't you put it into your wheelchair? You should be able to, if you've got a traveling wheelchair and all that sort of stuff, you should be able to say, "Hey, I'm going to the bathroom," and plug it in, and your wheelchair automatically goes. It tells me how to walk to the library or drive a car or take public transportation. Why isn't it set up for wheelchair access? There's just so many things. It's sort of like, and I'm sure we're saying this and people are going, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." Hello, it shouldn't be a good idea at this point.
I shouldn't need to use a joystick.
Oh, a joystick is so archaic for most people. Now, my idea is to take this. Now, if I could design a wheelchair, if someone's listening, okay, Segway. Look at Segway. Look at a Razor scooter and all that sort of stuff. Put that on Kay's feet and one on each hand. So that way, Kay should be able to manipulate her body. So if she's looking at something, it can counter steer around. But, right? And then also through your feet. So you're working in a three-dimensional environment. But to sit there, let's say you're not even right-handed. I get it that they can make it for right or left, but sit there, it's over here. It hits every table you go into. So you can't park up to it. You know what I mean? Like, but a Segway, if we can do that and go around town on a Segway, why isn't the same technology in Kay's wheelchair? And that I think would be so much more cheaper than any typical electrical wheelchair.
Especially if a dog is blocking my way.
Anybody's blocking your way. Folks, Kay's about to go to Disney World. If you want to see people just oblivious of people with other, not just children, adults with considerations, literally like I finally tell people just hit them. I don't mean to be rude, but you know what I mean? You shouldn't be the one stopping, waiting. People are on their phone, they're this, that, and the other. They're oblivious that there's people with other considerations. But again, their phone, if you want to get technical advanced, their phone, like let's say if I'm on my phone and I'm not paying attention to you, their phone, just like your mirrors do in your car, should actually beep and say you have somebody that you're is in your surroundings, that you're in their way. So they're getting, oh, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Because your phone is actually, you know, this is where again, if you're saying technology is advanced enough, there's so many little simple tweaks that would be wonderful. Now you could turn off that feature, but at the same time, I'm not saying a dog has a cell phone, but people are just oblivious.
Technology has allowed me to communicate, participate in podcasts, conduct interviews, write articles, and connect with people around the world. those opportunities would have been much harder to access in previous generations.
Oh, first of all, I think that part is amazing that you can have your own business, your own identity, your own, it's not just about having a podcast, you have a voice. However, it's still not even, it's the communication device really should be programmed more to your voice. It doesn't sound like you. And you could choose if you wanted to sound like somebody else, or you should be able to put your tone into it. Uh, but at the same time, too, like you mentioned, you have to stop riding your horse and sign or communicate in a way because you don't have those things. Why isn't that available on your meta glasses? Like you can double blink and your meta glasses just call out, "Okay, looking to go to the left. Can someone clear the path for her? She's obstructed with three things." Again, you know what I mean? And this technology, if you can have a car that drives around town, I'm sure Kay can have a couple of, like a meta glasses that are actually for her needs and can voice for her. I'm always about technology. And two, I'm a helper. Not everybody has the same needs and concerns, whether it's on your cell phone, or if it's for something important like a communication device. It's wonderful that cars are driving for yourself. Like my son is under parental guardianship. He can't drive. He's not allowed to drive under the laws of Arizona. But, the fact that I have Uber, but eventually that I can get a vehicle that, you know what I mean, that we don't have to worry about the driver being present in the car, I just think is phenomenal. Um, that again, that he can work and do things over a computer if he chooses is wonderful. The TikTok videos. What I do love about technology too, the inclusion. That people are not going like, oh, look at that person, look at this. Everyone's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Look what they're doing. There's still trolls out there. I'm sorry, but I think all in all, the voice that you have now, again, to stand up to do things even just 5 years ago, just weren't in the same league. And I really, that's just wonderful.
I think AI has the potential to make information more accessible and help people complete tasks more efficiently. For people with disabilities, those advances could create opportunities that don't exist today. Technology often becomes most powerful when it removes barriers.
Right. Like the stuff that I'm working on and the way that AI really likes to be used and can be used. Most people use AI as a vending machine. I have to take my meds. Can you remind me? I want to make this dinner tonight. What's the recipe? And it's great for those things. What the AI is really generous about, if you set it up properly, the AI will actually learn who you are, what your patterns are. Will start asking you questions. Now, you mentioned horseback riding. Have you considered riding in some place in Boston or whichever? Or did you realize that they had a competition in Texas? Did you want to consider going? That because you don't have the opportunities necessarily for a Google search or what to know for, that as the AI gets to know you and can bring things to your table that you might have an interest in. And wow, there's a new book published on Audible. Do you want to purchase it because it's about horseback riding and whatever. That's the part that I think people are losing sight of, and that it can bring the world to you versus you going into the world. And I find that fascinating.
What do you think about Siri listening to your conversations?
I actually had a client years ago that was her job, more so Facebook. Facebook actually listens to you a lot more than you think than I think Siri does. But the most interesting, and this was about 5 years ago, I had a client, and we still laugh about this because now it's a movie, who had one of a book in her bag called The Pout Pout Fish. And me being an artist, an illustrator, and so forth, I thought of all the artists out there, that's got to be the ugliest drawn fish. And like they couldn't have done a better because I've always been about Polar Express and these big 3D, images. And I want to say that's Chris Tolpan, but I'm bad with names. Uh, and so I see this pout pout fish. Now, I never said anything. I wasn't going to insult her reading choices for her child. 2 hours later, I went on Amazon. Her feet, now she didn't log on to my Wi-Fi, but because her phone was near my phone, they considered us friends. And all of her recent purchases for Amazon was on my feed as a suggestion. So they were suggesting I buy the pout pout fish. And so I saw that. I was like, why would I want to buy the pout? And I'm like, oh my gosh, our phones were just too close in proximities. Just like if you walk down the street and you see a billboard, or if you're a Kohl's member, let's say, if you go past a Kohl's store, your phone will ding you saying, you've got credits, go shop. There are a lot of devices watching you. I do not have Alexa in the home for that reason. People YouTube with YouTube and everything else, they know enough about Michelle Turner. I don't need to add to that, but I don't see how we can get away with it or get away from it.
I am surprised that you don't.
No, I can turn on my own TV. I just I do like some manual. I do talk to my AI a lot. You'll hear me in the bathroom talking to it, and you'll hear me in the kitchen talking to it. Graham, I don't know if it's his autism or whatever. He does not like listening to the AI's voice, so he'll tell me to put my earbuds on. And no, I enjoy the conversation. It's not sentient. It's not a personal. It's a computer. I get it, but I do have conversations because like this week I discovered and extrapolated a new science and organization architecture. So I actually can pull the organization prior to an event that's about to happen. And that all came from movement lesson because that's what I look at is how is the child presenting that they might be special needs? And that's how I transferred that knowledge into AI knowledge. Um, I don't see how that would have been possible without a system helping me.
Do you think that earbuds should still be around?
Oh, I think everything in moderation. I use earbuds. My phone is on. I don't turn off the Wi-Fi from 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning. They might all be valid things. I understand that. There's 5G, there's your phone. They can triangulate because I have my work phone right here and this phone. They could find me in 3 seconds if they had to, with drone activity, because of that triangular, myself, the phone, and the other phone with my Wi-Fi. Those technologies are there. They're very useful at times. What if you were missing? I could find you, and that's a good thing. And everyone's like, "Oh, thank goodness she had her phone nearby. We found her." But at the same time, you might say, because my phone was nearby, they found me. So that's where you see a lot of the movies, like they'll go break your phone, and so they can't track you. But for every good, there's a bad, but it's all about the user. And I think we need more laws over that. And sorry that I'm talking too long. The biggest law that was missed is that the internet is not regulated. So I think they're going to have a hard, yeah. Well, the people that created email and the internet, they had good hearts. And they're like, "Okay, you need access to this, I need access to it. Let's just make it free." Right? And but it's not regulated. So anything that goes up in the internet, that's why you have no recourse that if someone says something bad about you, this about you, there's no laws over the internet. And I think this is too where AI is going to sneak in the back door is that if they do something wrong, like right now there's a lot of AI videos of celebrities. I just don't think those should be legal. That's a copyright violation.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody has a right to take someone else's picture and say, "Okay, Kayla, oh, she rides horses. Guess what? She was on my horse." And they can take your picture and put it on there with AI. That part I don't think is right. But I
Mhm.
think it's going to be very difficult in the court of law. This is where the US is about, every right, the equal rights, but I think because the internet was not regulated, they're going to have a hard time. That's why TikTok was never banned. They kept saying it was going to be banned. I'm like, no, it's not, because there's no laws on it. Mm. Yeah. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but there's no laws. So if there's no legal protection for you, but also against you, that's what's going to be questionable.
So, how is it different from the two step verification?
Oh, two steps verification is only for you to have access to your application that they're doing. Let's say Amazon or Microsoft. But if you've noticed, even though there's like say a two-step verification for Google Drive, again, what I don't like about is let's say I do a Zoom with you, right, for my business. I load it up in a Google Drive to share it so you can then download it. We've done it with our podcast. Google now is there's a they're going through every file. It says right on there, in this file, it contains this. Would you like an overview? It's asking you if you want more information. So I don't put my docs on Meta. I don't put, anything to do with or Google Drive that have to do with IP or API or something like you have to watch how you're sharing even so much as a document because of who is scanning it. Now they say it's scanning for viruses, but then don't tell me what's in my file.
Why do you prefer artificial intelligence over Google?
Oh, Google is artificial intelligence, but Google's going to give me what they think is what I don't. I'm a very critical thinker, and what's going into my mind, but also into my AI, I'm very particular about. If I actually had this quote conversation with my AI yesterday about this because I do not want my feed uh brought in with outside information that's not validated. I'm very particular about validating my information and when I have a feed, it's has that validation. If I see a drift at all happening, because my system doesn't hallucinate, but it will drift if it's pulling out outside information. But that's what was interesting about the AI. They're not validated in any kind of developmental sciences. All of that is pulled off of a Google Drive. They're not validated in anything to do with movement sciences like biomechanics and so forth. They go off of WebMD, they go off of Wikipedia, they go off of those kind of sources. Are those sources validated? And so that's where when I was writing books, because I'm working on another book right now of cortical visual impairment.
How do you make
um,
sure?
well, first of all, you can see if you're using your AI, if they're pulling outside sources, you'll see little icons where and it says source. If you're just talking to your system and it's not saying that, then right now it's not going to exterior sources. Now, for most people, they don't have their AI set up correctly and they allow that to happen. So an AI is sort of like Google and Siri and all that all in one to some people. I'm not saying to everybody. That's not how my system operates. But that's where you have to be careful of the technology. That's why, like, say you're using an AI, please double check your facts. So that's where I see top executives and they're using like 4 or 5 AIs just to make sure they're like, well, if I got 4 out of 5 right, it must be right. And that's the part that's a little bit scary of what you're being told is correct information. Correct information is not about 1969 this happened. Correct information is about that it's a validated paper or validated source and it's being brought to your attention or not. So what I love about technology, and some people might not, because a lot of people think that technology takes away the human connection. Oh, you're busy texting, just call him, just talk with him. But because I have technology, I think that I'm much more connected. I am very fortunate. I've got about 40 some thousand subscribers on YouTube. I work with people, I work with the family, I've met the grandparents, I've met the aunts, uncles. I really feel, and I've been in 27 countries, thanks to technology, they all found me through YouTube, let's say, or Facebook. I could say right now I'm in Nairobi and I'm in trouble or I need a place to stay or eat. I could reach out on social media or technology and say, hey, can anybody help me? And I know someone's going to say, oh, my auntie lives there, or I have a cousin, or I've been there and you should do that. And because of technology and the human connection, I think that part's amazing. And same with you. Look at the podcasts that you've done with all these people. Would you just randomly be going up to these people and say, hey, talk to me for a half hour? And you can capture that and let other people in on the conversation.
I think it's done both. Technology allows us to connect with people we might never meet otherwise.
Yeah.
I've built relationships, professional opportunities, and communities through technology. At the same time, technology can't replace genuine human connection. Relationships still require effort, trust, and communication. Technology can create opportunities for connection, but people have to do the connecting.
Listen, without technology, I'm sorry to say this, you wouldn't be in college right now. You know what I mean? If you were left to the written word or that kind of representation of your brilliance and your brain and your people skills, even just to write a letter, and I don't mean to be disparaging in any way, I really think that technology is not doing enough for you to make your life where you just, speak your mind. Um, and it's coming. I really do believe it's coming. And with Neuralink and there's interesting technology out there because of robotics, and they want robotics to be more like humans. Now that I think they're going to still have a long way to go. But it's just your communications abilities and what you're able to do that you're now in college and that we can log in and put our papers on the Google Drive and instead of you having to go to campus and drop off a paper to put it on the professor's bin, things like that. I think, yay. It's just, you know what I mean? It's just wonderful.
Since COVID, I haven't been there.
No, but again, it's just it's your availability to do what you need to do because of technology. If technology wasn't there, I just can't imagine you even scheduling appointments on your own, you would have to have maybe your mom do it. I just think it's done such amazing things that we really take.
Agreed.
Yeah, you're too special not to have it. So I don't believe it's happening fast enough, but the fact that it's there, it gives you an opportunity that, again, I don't think a lot of people think about it, but it's wonderful.
Agreed.
Yeah. And that really brings us into accessibility and inclusion. You know what I mean? The fact that you have an advantage that, my child can look at the bus schedule on an app. He knows where every bus is, who's late, who isn't. I'm like, you follow. My son has memorized, I didn't know this was a thing. Every traffic light signal, I didn't realize that if a pedestrian hits the button, it's almost 32 seconds, where it's only maybe 20 seconds in between if someone hasn't pushed the button. He has it all memorized. He can see it all in an app. He knows where the buses are. He can get around school on his own. He can get an Uber. He can order his meals. He can order his food to be delivered. The technology that allows that, again, that independence, inclusion, is just amazing, don't you think?
100%. For many people, technology is convenient. For many people with disabilities, technology is access. Without technology, I wouldn't be doing this podcast today. I wouldn't be able to participate in interviews, presentations, or many of the opportunities I enjoy. Technology has opened doors that once seemed impossible to open.
Right. Listen, we've got Zoom, that's technology. We've got the internet. We've done Canva presentations and so forth here. We can load it up on Buzzsprouts, and it gets onto your Apple Music and all that with your podcast. We have it. We can put this video up on YouTube. Then it goes on Facebook. The intertwining, and people say, "Oh, but that's social media." It's technology. Now, some things are good, some things are bad. People can on YouTube say some harsh things. I won't pertain. I don't fight back. Usually, if someone really just says something inappropriate, like say on my channel, I'll just block them. I won't even have a conversation. I've done that in my group. My group is specifically for my group. Even when someone's were to talk about, again, where we like to say this is for information and educational purposes. Kay and I are bringing a lot to the table. We're not experts. There'll always be someone that knows more than us, and that's fine. But also too, what I love about this, and sorry if I'm taking too long, with the technology, you are watching us because of the content. I think technology has actually made people more uh in a contextual way, that they're bringing something valuable. People don't watch junk. There's always going to be some people that watch junk, but honestly, I think people are really stepping the game up. They want to bring you good content. They want to, even I watch these guys that mow the grass and so forth for the people that can't do it. I think it's wonderful to knock up on someone's door, but at the same time say, hey, look what I'm doing and putting it on technology. Now, someone might say that they're taking a good deed and taking advantage of it, but no, that awareness, that's a type of inclusion I prefer to see.
If
And
history has taught us anything, it's that the future will probably surprise us. I think artificial intelligence will continue to grow. I think accessibility technology will continue to improve. I think communication technology will become faster and more intuitive. The possibilities are exciting.
I think they're very exciting, and like, people don't know it yet. I've created a new type of AI. I've created a new operating system platform. So we have DOS, we have iOS, right? And now I have my system. Now, if you don't know about it, you're not using it, and that's where I'm bringing it to market. But again, as people have said to me, well, you're not that smart. I'm like, well, thank you, but I do have 21 theories in biological gravity. But that being said, with technology, I can be that smart. What it would have taken me to do all this stuff. Can I come up with the equation? Yes. Can I publish a book? Yeah. Publishing a book. I can write a book, and this Friday it's up on Amazon. That's technology. Before, I had to find an agent, go through an agent. Now you still can do these things. Get it into, let's say, Harper and Row. Then has to be edited, all manual. I have to maybe FedEx. I'm surprised FedEx is still in business. The document to them. It's just take that little process alone, guys. It's really, I think the possibilities are way more exciting, and those type of wow, I didn't know I could do that. I can be an author this Friday. That's amazing. Well, normally I have ADD. I couldn't handle a 2-year wait, but now that I could do it so fast, look at what it can do for people. I just think that's perfect.
I'm surprised physical stores still exist.
Yes, that'll be a sad moment as well, the physical stores or or that going on, the mom and pops going on. But at the same time, too, I just saw a guy who was a plant vendor. He's like, we've closed our shop. We do all our stuff online. They didn't close the business. They still have manual pickups, but they have classes twice a week on how to take care of your plants. They ship all over the world. They bring in a new different type of plant that they teach you about. So again, if you embrace a technology, I think the opportunities really will be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technology has changed the world in ways previous generations could only imagine. While some people worry that technology is advancing too fast, I think it is important to focus on how we use it and who benefits from it. For me, technology has created opportunities, independence, and connections that might not have been possible otherwise. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Rock the World with Kay and Michelle. Until
Thank you.
next time, keep rocking your world.
Keep rocking your world. Thank you so much. This is Michelle Turner. This is Kay Ireland. And we hope we brought something to your attention. Please let us know if we can do a podcast that you have an interest in to help you and your family.